Wow, how can I trump that kind of circ and these customers? There is no way, but I have promised this morning there are more than one announcement, and this is this session now about. And I've brought help with me, actually, who helped me with the announcements, but I give you just a little bit of a hint of where this is trending now. This session is now about helping you, enabling you to get more value from scaling with Dynatrace. We had AI, we had all the business in the morning. This one is more about product, and I'm sure you will find it excited. And I'd like to bring the first speaker here on for the first cool thing that's coming. Steve Tack, come on stage.
All right. So we talked a little bit today, the slide will go forward, about just how complex environments are getting, how sophisticated they are. And so that's great. We can continue to talk about the challenges, but really what we're here to this afternoon is to get back into what are the solutions for those challenges. And one of the mental models I'd like to flip in terms of how we think about instrumentation, observability, driving value from data is how we look across the environments. Because talking to you, you have your setups. It might be tier 0 for critical, 1, 2, 3. Other organizations might talk about things in terms of like platinum, gold, and silver, but you've historically banded things and look at them differently. What level of visibility do you give? Are there different SLOs or different SLAs that get set up, or different teams that introduce new capabilities for new technologies? You know, that's kind of like a little bad habit we all have, in the sense of we introduce a new technology, we introduce a new instrumentation visualization for that specifically, and we kind of end up then with this situation where you have different environments, different tools, different instrumentation, and different areas that really have different problems that they bring with them. And whether it's we don't have the right level of instrumentation, whether it's the cognitive load, I love that term in terms of what we expect out of the teams, just kind of exceeding their capacity. But really what happens is a breakdown in communication, collaboration, because the right insights aren't there. Which is why we're excited today to introduce a new capability that will allow you to bring Dynatrace everywhere. So there's a new capability of the One Agent that we're introducing that is called Discovery and Foundation. And what I think you're going to be excited about this is the ability that it's going to provide you to cover your environment in a new way. So what does that mean? What are we talking about when we come to observability and discovery and foundation? Well, in essence, we've always thought about Dynatrace driving deep into certain areas and then extending into infrastructure. And what we're doing today is that mental model flip I was talking about was moving to a new mode that's very cost effective. Think about this in terms of like 1/8 of the cost of what we have with Dynatrace Full Stack, giving you core critical observability to understand basic host monitoring, the criticality of the service to understand, is it internet exposed? Is it looking at different services? And then also taking advantage of new technologies like eBPF to do discovery across that host. And so what that provides you is with this ability to combine different one-agent modes, also augmenting from OpenTelemetry, from log monitoring, to give you visibility into that environment. So what I'm really excited to announce, though, is that this is now available for customers who are SaaS DPS today, and you can take advantage of that now. Now, to help with this as well, we're also bringing analytics to help you understand what's out there in that environment, what might need critical observability. We're looking at how we discover, how we provide that coverage, how you can understand where those risks are, and help you understand really what's the right appropriate level for that service. Once again, getting back to, is it internet accessible? Is it a critical workload? Is it something that would lend itself well to deep instrumentation? And so this app is now available immediately as well to help you with those environments as we drive forward. Now, that's going to give you a lot more coverage, a lot more insight, the right approach to make it economically viable to go broad within that environment so you get that one system as well. Now, there's one thing, though, you might notice that I haven't hit upon. I've been stressing observability. Well, we know that it's also critical when you think about your security posture, when you think about security coverage, to have that broad visibility as well, and that's part of the value of Dynatrace and bringing those worlds together. But I won't talk about that in depth now. I'd actually like to welcome Andreas to the stage to take us through a little bit.
Thank you, Steve. Organizations agree that security threats pose critical business risks, which makes security no longer a job for the security team in your organization, but for every one of you. Dynatrace customers are commonly surprised when they enable Dynatrace application security that we immediately find exposures at runtime, proving your existing tooling isn't sufficient. Your environments are also expanding rapidly, increasing the coverage problem that Steve hinted to. Additionally, Tier 2, 3 applications are developed by third parties. You don't want to blindly trust them, but hold them accountable. Whatever offline scan results they provide, the truth you only see in real time at production. So let's change your potential security problem that you might not even be aware of yet. With our one agent already in your environment, you can actually simply turn on security with the flip of a switch. Now, Dynatrace security means we find and contextualize exposures in third-party, open source, and custom code. And with our Davis AI-powered security score, we assess the risk of those exposures custom to your individual environment, real-time, at runtime, from within the application. Our ability to track any request coming into your environments from anywhere, down to the code level, even finding unknown vulnerabilities, provides the ultimate understanding of the exposure all around. And the best part, with Dynatrace, there is no security alert noise. We provide your teams only with what's important and with all the level of detail they need to actually fix the issue at hand. And while they're doing that, we provide them with runtime application protection from exploits on those exposures, and we are detailing the attack path from the source to the destination. Now, you can send us all of your security events that come in from the tools that you use in development or native services from the hyperscalers. Dynatrace contextualizes your data and provides better answers, actionable, than any tools out there that don't have our context. Now, operationalizing security is really key. Dynatrace understands who in your organization owns what application. We automate security inside distribution and reporting with our workflows, and we make data accessible for security analytics in Dynatrace. Now, with security everywhere, from the Tier 2, 3 apps in pre-production to full-stack security insights in production, you no longer need to compromise on coverage. You are getting real-time, at runtime, unified security and observability for everyone. Building on our core platform features, Dynatrace application security combines cloud-native application protection and threat detection and incident response capabilities natively integrated in one platform. And with security everywhere available for you, now Bernd will tell you about his next big thing.
So Andreas, Steve, this was awesome. But really, what have you done? Oh, what this means is more data, more data, more data. What do we do with all this? I mean, I know one agent can handle all this, but the customers want to send from other data sources more. So, but what is the challenge you have? I mean, did you count all your data sources and tools that you have that collect data? I mean, think of Fluentd, Cribble, think of all the different do-it-yourself tools, think of all the ingest pipelines that you run. Have you actually thought about the maintenance effort to keep then the data pipes and the normalization all intact so that actually the analytics you want to run on top of it is actually stable, or do you also have to constantly do bug fixing on your analytics and data pipes? So it is an effort to actually keep all the data, the ingest, consistent, security matters, and the privacy of it. And then with data being exponentially growing, it's also a cost and scale issue. And this is why I'm super happy now to actually announce a new addition to the Dynatrace platform that helps you exactly with these challenges. This is OpenPipeline. OpenPipeline is a high-performance, real-time stream processing engine that is exactly there to help you get more data faster into Grail, because as you know, Grail scales stunningly, fantastically well. So here's how this works, to give you a rough sense. You ingest, as you use, data through one agent, or you leverage OpenTelemetry, or you use the APIs to get data into Dynatrace. But you want to transfer the data securely, and this is what OpenPipeline cares about. So forget those issues with certificates out of date or how to load balance data. OpenPipeline is taking care of this. And also think of the scale. So far in Dynatrace, you can ingest 250 terabytes per day. But actually, with OpenPipeline, we pump this up already to 500 terabytes per day. And by the end of year, we will be at 1,000 terabytes per day. Isn't this massive? But it's more than just a data pump, because what's happening that OpenPipeline actually has a patented high-performance rule engine that allows to actually contextualize the data in such a high quality that it funnels the full 1,000 terabyte at speed all the way to Grail with context. All the whole filtering, masking for security, privacy management, normalization. This is also where the semantic dictionary kicks in that we announced last year. Helps you to actually transform the data so that you have only in Grail exactly what you need at the highest quality with context in there so that you're ready for the best analytics. Where does all this fit in the architecture of Dynatrace? It is first complementary. You don't have to do anything. Once we roll it out, you will get it automatically on Dynatrace SaaS. But OpenPipeline sits right there after the ingest of one agent or the APIs, and it lives there to feed then the data into Grail, and all the way it goes then through DBCI, Smartscape being built up, all the way to the use cases for observability, security, and business. So with having so much data now actually being pumped into Grail, now you want to hear more. What are the key advances that we have done in Grail so far? Let me bring up to stage Andreas Lehofer.
Let's discuss how you can unlock the full value of all the observability and security data that you have in Dynatrace based on the tiny example environment behind me. The number of interesting questions that you can ask or answer with Grail is basically unlimited, but don't worry, we will look only into 3 areas. Let's start with a classical root cause analysis scenario out of the observability space. Or think about another scenario in the security space. Imagine Dynatrace is identifying 2 instances of a vulnerability in your microservice environment. Which of these 2 vulnerabilities is more likely to be exploited from the outside? And which one provides the bad guy an easier way to access your customer data? But of course, also more generic or more business-centric questions can be answered, like, is the deployment here as cost-efficient as it could be? Or could you reduce the number of instances running here and there without sacrificing user experience? So reflecting about all these very different use cases, it turns out that you need to collect very similar types of data from many places in order to handle them. You need log data from basically all the components in that picture. And of course, metrics are key as well. User behavior data needs to be collected if you want to understand user experience. And spans and traces are key to understand user transactions end to end. And prior to Grail, you needed a number of different tools to collect that and store all the data. There are tools that are great for log data, but nothing else. Some observability solutions are covering parts of the picture, but not comprehensively. And many customers I'm talking to need a number of security tools on top of all of that to handle the security aspect. With Dynatrace, you need only Dynatrace and Grail to store all that data without silos and also analyze all the data, which is a huge problem if you have the data stored in different silos. So let's zoom into the observability example I mentioned briefly to see how that works in practice. We start with a very simple DQL statement here that gives us exactly the requests that are failing on the front-end level. Then we are using the join command in the next step to follow these traces from the entry point back to the database tier. And finally, we are adding log data to the picture in this example by joining also the log data to really see the root cause on the database level. And this is now the analysis on the raw data that we are doing. Of course, we want to transform it, make a nice chart out of it that you can put on a dashboard to use going forward and monitor the situation. So I think this very, very tiny example already shows how amazingly easy it is with Dynatrace to perform all those different analytics tasks and how powerful it is. But of course, with great power, is the saying, comes great responsibility, right? So that is why I think it makes sense that we speak about a number of non-functional requirements now that we need to meet as well. Let's start with scalability. Bernd actually mentioned already the scalability that we are supporting on the ingress side of the house and how fast it will be growing to even larger ingress volumes. But of course, from your perspective, ingest is only one dimension. Much more crucial is the analytics part, because I mean, this is where the majority of the value is. And there it's actually the elasticity and flexibility of Grail that is the main thing, because analytics needs are completely different with all customers. It starts from very sporadic analytics requirements in forensic use cases, for instance. You are not doing that very frequently, but when you are doing a forensic analysis, then you need huge analytics powers immediately, because you're searching a small needle in a haystack, petabytes of data, huge haystack, right? And Grail, it has been purpose-built to do exactly that for you in a very efficient way. There are no limits in the underlying architecture, so you can expect us to grow those limits as we go, and we are a safe choice for your future from that perspective. Of course, data protection requirements are also very, very important when we are talking about non-functional requirements. So think about log data, for instance. There is audit data where you have to make sure that you are capturing and storing everything, no doubt. But very similar data from a technical perspective, used for other use cases like troubleshooting use cases, you have to make sure that you are absolutely not capturing sensitive data from that perspective. So this is why we have rich support in one agent to filter out, wipe out sensitive data if you want to do that right from the beginning. It's never reaching OpenPipeline, it's not reaching Grail, and you have no problem from that perspective. But what about data that is coming in to OpenPipeline? You can see that OpenPipeline is normalizing the data when it reaches that tier, and you can define then there again masking rules to make sure that also if you're not using one agent, you can wipe out data before it's stored in Dynatrace. And no doubt, if this is a working approach based on your requirements, it's the best thing to do to wipe out and not store sensitive data. But don't get me wrong, we do understand that sometimes this is not an option. You have to store sensitive data, but you have to protect it and make sure that it's only accessed by people that need to access it. This is why we have a number of additional security and privacy features in the product that help you doing this. This starts with access policies. This is a very fine, granular mechanism doing exactly what I said. It's giving different users different access to different types of data on a row level. So exactly what you need here. With support of Bring Your Own Key later this year, we will also give you full control about the encryption toolchain that we are using to encrypt your data at rest. With residency of data, which is also, I think, something many here in this room have to worry about, you see that Dynatrace is providing you lots of options to choose from where to store the data in order to meet your needs. And finally, I want to speak about a very flexible and fine granular mechanism that allows you to store different types of data for different retention periods in Dynatrace, which is also key from your own requirements, but also for regulatory and compliance needs. So speaking about regulatory requirements such as GDPR or CCPA, deleting customer data upon request is one of the key concepts there, right? And it sounds easy to delete data upon request, but I think many in here know that it's not easy to delete data from any type of NoSQL store. So it's great news that we will also bring a new application soon that will allow you to do exactly this. So you can highly selective, on a row level, delete data from the Grail store if you need to. And I don't want to leave the non-functional discussion without saying that is, of course, also very important for us, that everything that we are doing here is continuously validated by many third-party certifications and accreditations. So putting all of this together, I think knowing that Dynatrace covers all of the non-functional aspects, nothing should stop you from leveraging the value that the data in Dynatrace can provide to you with Grail. And I hope that you are motivated trying some of it out yourself. And with that, back to Bernd.
Thanks, Andreas. That's awesome. Now, we have so much more data in Grail. We are ready to actually analyze more and automate more. But we forgot maybe one thing. How do we ensure that the data is actually of high quality that's in there? So if you use the one agent, the data that's coming from there, this is automatic, sanitized, clean, so no worries on that end. But the data that comes from external sources, from whatever, business systems that you pipe in, from IoT devices, something that you want to use in context, how do you ensure then the quality? Colleen this morning mentioned on stage how often our kind of usage data pipelines failed. So this is an issue because your automation would break too if the data is wrong. But this is now what I'm super happy to announce next. We have augmented the Dynatrace platform with an ability to help you make sure that all external data that you bring into Dynatrace, into Grail, is actually checked for quality So let me introduce Dynatrace's data observability. So this data observability is actually powered by our Davis Hypermodal AI. And it actually helps you with 5 key issues that typically comes when you ingest external data. So one is freshness. So, I mean, if you want to automate on data that is 2 hours outdated, maybe automation simply fails. The other one is actually a data volume issue. So when your ingest pipeline or some batch job that failed gets restarted manually because someone thinks, okay, let me restart it because the data did not get fully through, suddenly the volume goes up and signals that there is an issue, and or the volume goes down and because something stopped actually piping data. Data distribution issues. Also hint towards problems that data is not correctly done. For instance, we had the case that instrumentations in the code led actually to duplicate consumption information. Obviously, the distribution is automatically checked by Davis through its predictive AI mechanisms and alerts automatically of a distribution issue. The next issue is a schema. Just think of all the logs and you want to parse out sort of a metric from a log, and then someone changes the log text. Bang, your data is wrong. Schema has changed or some other column changed. Data lineage. Here is where tracing also helps in context of data observability to figure out has your data source changed overall. So all this brings stunning business value to you because this allows you to make better business decisions, drive automation that works, is trusted, and also helps you with your observability and security use cases to have fewer false positives and actually make better decisions on there. So from there, the remaining question is now, we have all quality data, we have petabytes of data, we have the fastest ingest, and everything's secure. But now you want to look at the data. So therefore, let me bring up the woman that owns the user experience and who knows best how you get actually to see all the greatness that's in there, Ingrid. Let me bring up Rasika. Come on.
All right. I am so thrilled today to delve into how we're transforming data experiences for you. As you've heard earlier throughout the day, at the heart of our platform lies Grail, a unified storage solution that makes sure that all your data is in one place, secure, and ready to be explored. It's a given that data empowers both individuals and businesses to observe patterns, make decisions, and of course, automate. But on the flip side, we recognize that finding the right data can also be quite daunting. Have you ever been in a situation where you're digging and digging to get to the root cause of an incident? You know the missing link is somewhere there, but you just can't find it? Or maybe you're looking for that perfect chart that helps you support your finding and depict what you really want to share with your team, but you also want it to resonate with people from other departments. This past year, we've been committed to elevating your holistic data exploration experience by simplifying how you find and shape your data, and of course, enriching our versatile library of data visualization tools. Let's first look at how you can get to your information faster. We've made exploration accessible to everyone, regardless of your technical skills or your work style. You can now get to your answers even without writing DQL. Let's see how. Ready-made dashboards are a perfect way to jumpstart, reuse, and share your insights. Let's be honest, our days get really busy. You shouldn't always have to start from scratch. We can now just select a template and instantly create a dashboard. Customize it, reuse it, and when it's time to collaborate, you can share your entire dashboard or just an individual tile with your colleague. We're also adding a new interactive UI to explore your data on Grail. Using step navigation and dropdowns, you can now connect different expressions, and you can also dive deeper with logical operators with just a couple clicks. It's a smart way to streamline your essential tasks, such as filtering, sorting, aggregating, without breaking a sweat. All right, so moving on to our catch-all. You heard a lot about Davis Copilot earlier today. I wanted to share that this is not only enabling advanced users to go deeper into their analysis, but this also will empower novice users to translate their natural language questions into answers. And for those power users out there that still prefer to write their own DQL, we've also got you sorted. We are now adding a profoundly context-aware autocomplete to boost your productivity. Okay, and as a sneak peek, lastly, I wanted to introduce something that's coming soon called segments. It's our advanced solution to data segmentation. Segments will empower any of you, even if you're not an admin, to split and group large chunks of data into consumable bases. Whether you're organizing data by geographies, environments, team structures, or maybe a combination of these, segments will help you contextually group your data on read, giving you the flexibility and assurance to evolve with your environment. For our customers who are already harnessing the power of management zones, you're going to be blown away and happy to discover the extra advantages of the more flexibility and multidimensionality that segments will bring to you. Okay, so you've shaped and structured your information. Now you can work with it. So what? What's next? At Dynatrace, we focus on building a strong foundation. And one key part of doing this is having the right visualizations to accelerate decisions. We are introducing a new diverse set of data visualization tools as a part of our design system, Strato, that I announced last year. This includes chart types like honeycomb, Gantt, heat maps, and world maps, and many, many, many more. But I have to say, our charts are not just about quantity or aesthetics. They're much more than that. Let's have a closer look at the world map component so you can see what I'm talking about. Geospatial maps provide context in a way humans understand intuitively. And with our latest improvements, you can go beyond your usual obvious use cases. Consider using an advanced map for risk assessment, operational efficiency, or maybe business growth planning. That's just to name a few. The options are really endless. And moving forward, we will not only integrate these new charts into our ecosystem of apps, but they will be available in the design system for you to be able to use and build your custom apps with. This delivers an unmatched platform value. With these enhancements, not only can you onboard your teams faster to Dynatrace, but you can actually get to your answers faster. And you can collaborate better with your team for any use case. OK, I covered a lot. So I'm going to do a quick video recap so you can see some more of those chart types. And after that, I'll pass it back to Bernd and Steve.
Last year, we launched Strato, our most advanced and versatile design system to date. And now, building on that, we're committed to elevating the way you experience and interact with data. You can query your data faster and more intuitively with DQL, Dynatrace Query Language. Our enhanced DQL editor, now with smarter autocomplete, balances endless possibilities with unmatched efficiency. We've also added the option to build queries with just a few clicks and introduced Davis Copilot, so you can get insights through natural language. This means that whatever your experience level and preferences, you'll be able to do more with your data. Because capturing data is just the start. Now you can shape it, transform it, and tell its full story. And visualizations are the key to interpreting your data in the right way. That's why we've created one for every scenario. Whether you need to simplify, summarize, share an overview, maybe with more detail, or observe patterns, and tweak your story based on personal preference. Dive deeper and compare. Take your analysis further to learn, indicate, forecast, spot problems, or explore your data's journey. We've got you covered. There's a visualization for everything in your data landscape. Whatever you need to visualize, you can. Create a fluid narrative with your data so you can easily solve problems and get the answers you need. Every improvement, from querying to our advanced visualizations, will give you a more connected and insightful data journey across our entire platform. Use these capabilities across the entire app ecosystem or integrate them into your own apps.
Like that? So I'm totally excited, I have to say. Steve, you need to help.
I'll step in and summarize real quick for you, Bernd. But thank you, Ratzka. That was awesome. So let's summarize just overall real quick. The first thing is we talked about rethinking the way you get value from Dynatrace. More scale, different deployment model, different economic model. And when I say different, it's more of a rethinking of the strategy of where do you need the levels of insight from observability and security. What's the right one-agent mode? What's the right open telemetry ingest? What's the right log instrumentation? This is something that will help you reduce those silos and really bring together things into a common system. Bernd also went through and talked about how we're going to make it easier to ingest that data, retain the context, ensure security, ensure privacy, and do it with scale. Thanks to Andreas, we saw all the new ways that we've advanced Grail, making it more enterprise ready, making it there are more use cases to take advantage of. And of course, it's important to have that data quality. As Colleen shared this morning, as Bernd went through this afternoon, it's all about making sure that you can trust the data to take action and automations. But then as Razika went in, as you start into collaboration, how do we then also share that information? How do we visualize it? How do we deliver that information? So cool, so exciting, so many different things I've heard from all of you in terms of what you're looking to get done out of Dynatrace, and you're only going to see more coming in the coming weeks, months, and quarters.
Thanks, Steve. That's helping a lot. So what I now would want to know is actually, how can I use this as quickly as possible? This good news is tomorrow you will get lots of information, deep dives in how to use all of this. So tomorrow we're going to present to you a subset of over 100 use cases that we have prepared for you that work across the entire software delivery lifecycle, because I was also stunned myself. Oh, when we adopted all of this, what we announced here already as customers here internally, it's so many use cases. So we bring all those to you to help you adopt Dynatrace quicker, faster, easier, so that you get more value from scaling with Dynatrace.